fades into God. And welcome to our family that is joining us via Facebook and YouTube. To those who are here in the center and those who are joining us via Zoom, delighted that you're here this morning. We are continuing our February 2025 theme, which is radical interconnection. And I want you to put a bookmark beside that radical interconnection, because I'm going to share something that is a little slightly different from an experience that I had. And our topic for today is Ripples, the Art of Mindful Living. Radical interconnection reminds me that I am and that we are to recognize that we are called to open our eyes, to see past seeming differences and embrace the truth that we are all indeed one. And you know, sometimes life offers us these little pop quizzes, as they're called. So I had my pop quiz experience yesterday. I was at a memorial celebration for a friend of mine up in the Bay Area. And there were people there that I had not seen in a while. And so as people were gathering before the service actually began, there was someone who entered, and it looked like someone that I still have some unresolved stuff with. You know, and you can add whatever name it is to the stuff. And I'll tell you, in a nanosecond, that committee in my mind convened without an email, without a text, without a voicemail, and started to yak, 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 yak. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I'm in this beautiful facility, absolutely gorgeous facility. Never been there before. And I'm surrounded by people that I really know and love, and I'm here for a celebration. Why is this happening? And all of this, you know, all of this is like a screen that's scrolling by, and then all of a sudden I recognize that this is not the person who I thought it was. I'm going, I really have my work to do, especially now that we're in the season for nonviolence. And it was just a reminder that my inner work is an ongoing process. And then this morning, Spirit not only gives us a pop quiz, but it gives us answers. In today's reading from the Science of Mind magazine, the title is Stay Inspired. But what really resonated with me in the reading today was this quote by Albert Einstein. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. In the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. And so I had my opportunity moment yesterday, and it gives me encouragement and hope to know that I can move beyond difficulty. We're honoring the season of nonviolence, as I had mentioned, and our word for today is integrity. And I offer this expression from Thich Nhat Hanh in the book Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. And he wrote this: nonviolence is not a strategy. It is not a skill. It is not a tactic to arrive at some kind of a goal. It is a kind of action or response that springs from understanding and compassion. As long as you have understanding and compassion in your heart, everything you do will be nonviolent. But as soon as you become dogmatic about being nonviolent, you're no longer nonviolent. Sometimes non-action is violence. And he offers this example of that. If you allow others to kill and destroy, although you are not doing anything, you are also implicit in that violence. So violence can be action and no action. And then our founder, Ernest Holmes, offers this from our Science of Mind textbook on page 291. And this is where we can move into this place of joy and excitement and hope. Ernest writes, we live in limitless opportunities. Underscore that phrase, limitless opportunities. which are forever seeking expression through us. They're not coming from the outside, they're coming from the inside out. Destroy the thought that would place limitation or bondage upon any situation or condition. Talk to yourself, not the world. There is only one to talk to, but yourself, for all experience takes place within. There is no one to talk to but yourself, because all experience takes place within. Conditions and reflections of our meditations are nothing else. There is but one mind. That mind is our mind now. It never thinks confusion, knows what it wishes and how to accomplish what it desires. It is what it desires. And so in the teachings of Science of Mind, we learn that our thoughts create our reality, and what we pay attention to is what is real for us. Again, the key phrase here, what we pay attention to is real for us. And my reality is not the reality of anybody else in this room. We're each individualized expressions of the divine, and so what we are expressing is the experience of our reality. In psychology, this is called biased attention, a confirmation bias where we selectively focus on information that confirms our views while ignoring or discounting data that doesn't. This in turn influences how we relate to others and also how we relate to ourselves. Uncovering these hidden beliefs and biases can seem daunting because we have the sum of everything that we have been taught, everything that we have believed, everything that we have done, plus the influences on us. Ernest Holmes uses the expression that we're subject to the race consciousness. And he's not talking about race in terms of gender or national point of origin. What he's talking about is the consciousness thoughts of the entire planet, of the universe that have passed down from millennium through millennium. As we uncover our hidden biases, those thoughts and the stories can change how we relate to the world and participate in our own transformation as well as the transformation for the world. Change is possible. While we can't change the outside world, we can change our perceptions. The month of February is also Black History Month, and today I would like to highlight Bayard Rustin, who doesn't get a lot of attention or credit for his magnificent contributions. A key figure in the civil rights movement shaping the fight for equity in America, he was one of the chief organizers of the historic March on Washington in 1963. Rustin's contributions were instrumental in the progress made during this pivotal era in American history. Facing discrimination and adversity throughout his own life, number one, as a Black man, and number two, as an out gay Black man, Rustin committed to nonviolent activism and tirelessly advocated for the rights of marginalized communities. His legacy continues to inspire, and his stories are reminders of the power of perseverance and the importance of fighting for justice. And I offer this quote from Rustin, and he said, "The real radical is the person who has no vision of equity, of equality, and is willing to do those things that will bring reality closer to that vision. The real radical is the person who has a vision." I said no vision, correct that. The real radical is that person who has a vision of equality and is willing to do the things that will bring reality closer to that vision. And so what he is offering here is a perspective on radicalism and equality, suggesting that true radicalism lies not in extreme actions or ideologies. Instead, it lies in having a vision of equality and taking tangible steps to bring that vision closer to reality. We're invited to rethink our understanding of radicalism and emphasize the importance of actively working towards a more equal and just society. Actual change requires a vision and the willingness to take action and make a difference. And that vision that emerges from within each one of us is going to result in an action that is appropriate for where we are at this particular moment in time. And that action is going to show up in various ways, and it's going to materialize for each one and propel them into making this difference that we are called to make. And so let's look at some of this application for today. A commonly heard phrase in our Centers for Spiritual Living, and it's part of our creed or our motto, if you will, is that we're creating a world that works for everyone. This begs the question, how often do we look really close to what this means? What does it really mean to create a world that works for all? Who decides who the all is? And who decide what works? You know, it's one of those lofty goals, one of those lofty things that we talk about, but in reality, what is there to say that the world is not working for everyone right where they are right now? This may sound a little harsh, but it's all about change. It's not change, it's about our choices, the choices that we make. And we make choices based on the information that we have in the moment. And as I suggested to you last week, take the time to investigate those choices. Look at the background. Look at who is funding the research for whatever it is that is being promoted, because the funding will determine the outcome of the research. In the same way it is once we are aware that we can choose again, that we can choose differently, then we will make different choices. We will make different decisions that propel us in loving this life that we're given, into loving each one that is around us, because we are loving ourselves first. Someone said that humans are meaning-seeking creatures. We create stories that give our lives meaning. Stories help us to understand why the world is the way that it is and helps us to understand our place in it. We learn stories from our families, from our educational system, and from popular culture. Part of spiritual growth is being critically examining those stories, looking for places where our stories lead to separation rather than unity. And this is what this philosophy, the teaching of science of mind, the teachings of the New Thought movement, is about identifying not where we are separate, but where we are unified, and focusing on those things that unify us, that connect us in this bond of love, this bond of friendship, this bond of fellowship, that allows us to really create a world that works for each one. And creating that world for each one is one that is inclusive. It is not one that separates us. The important thing to remember about our stories is that they are not true. Our stories are not true. They are our interpretations of reality. The point is not to stop telling stories. It's to become more aware of the stories and to see they still fit into our current reality. Becoming aware of our stories allows us to pay attention to our first thoughts. You know, sometimes we say, my first mind told me to do something, or something told me to go this direction or that direction. To do this, we have to become mindfully aware of how we objectively stereotype others. My pop quiz from yesterday that I shared earlier, I saw someone that resembled someone walking in the door, and my whole body demeanor changed. I could feel myself tightening up. The initial thought that we have when we meet someone, when something happens to us, or when we read an article or watch TV, has a tendency to impact the way that we look at that individual or that experience from that moment on. And sometimes, for myself, I will make an observation or that first thought, And that first thought turns out to be so totally incorrect and inaccurate. When I have an opportunity to know the person, to sit and to engage in conversation. As the song said, I remember to remember. I remember that I am one with God. And I remember to remember that everyone is one with God. This can be an uncomfortable practice. I will offer that to you. To experience transformation, we must sit with what is uncomfortable. And Pema Chödrön writes this, in The Places That Scare You, transformation occurs when we remember breath by breath, year after year, to move toward our emotional distress without condemning or justifying our experience. Freeing ourselves from hidden beliefs and biases and stereotypes is a lifelong practice. All of life actually is a practice. You know? It's like we are practicing the principles and the teachings of science of mind. If we were in another tradition, we would be practicing the principles and the teachings of that tradition. When we go to medical experiences, what is the medical profession doing? They're practicing. When we go into our creative mode, what are we doing? We're practicing allowing the divine download to come through. So all of our areas of our lives are a practice. There is no end goal. And that may be good news or it may be bad news, depending on your reflection on that. There is no end goal. However, the more we practice, the more the likelihood we will have of a fulfilling life. Experiencing everything we experience in the present moment, and we get to choose what each moment looks like and feels like. And this too is a practice. So we're continually choosing moment to moment what our experience is going to be, what the outcome is going to be for us out of this. Letting go of hidden biases and beliefs require us to no longer live on autopilot. It means we might have to let go of what society teaches us. And so I want to bring us back to the beginning. And I offer this quote from Ernest Holmes from our Science of Mind textbook on page 291. We exist in limitless opportunities, which are forever seeking expression through us. Destroy the thought that replaces limitation or bondage upon any situation or condition. Talk to yourself, not the world. There is no one to talk to but yourself. For all experience takes place within. Conditions are reflections of our meditations and nothing else. There is but one mind. That mind is our mind now. It never thinks confusion, knows what it wishes and how to accomplish what it desires. It is what it desires. I invite us now to say together our affirmation for this week. I am mindful of how my life force ripples into the world. Let's say this again. I am mindful of how my life force ripples into the world. And I invite us to pray together. And this is what I know to be true. There is but one mind. And that mind is a mind that I am using right here and right now. This mind is this infinite source of intelligence that I think into, and it thinks back through me. And as this is true for me, I know that it is true for all people everywhere. There is but one mind, and each one is an inlet and an outlet to that mind. And so I speak my word of gratitude this morning, knowing that I am one with this power. I am one with this creative intelligence. It lives itself through me and as me. And in doing so, I remember that I have choice. I am always at choice. And so I choose love. I choose gratitude. I choose peace. I choose compassion. I choose generosity. I choose life. Knowing that each choice that I make reflects a quality of the life that I wish to live, a quality of the life that I am here to experience. And the same is true for each one, as an individualized expression of the divine. And so as we journey through this thing called life, this journey of awakening, there are going to be times when our paths intersect. And at those points of intersection, may there be reflections of love and peace and joy and harmony, propelling us to move and to shine our light, to shine the brilliant light of love and peace into a world of seeming darkness, knowing that one light illuminates another and illuminates another and illuminates another along the journey. And so as the path is lit ahead of us and as the path is lit behind us, we join in unity and not in separation. I speak my word this morning for those who are experiencing opportunities and challenges or joy and happiness in life, knowing that each one is both sides of the same coin. In our joy and in our sorrow, there is this place of solace, this place of peace. And it is not a denial of the human experience, because we know that we are spiritual beings living in this human expression in this material world on our journey back to our spiritual home. And so we gather on this journey to acquire what is determined for our next steps, for the next aspects of this journey, of the continuity of life. And so as we gather information, we allow this information to shape and form us from a place of love and unity. I bless places where people are gathering in the name and nature of love, of the one power, the one presence. And I speak my word for those who are experiencing the transition of loved ones, someone who may have stepped off of this mortal plane, back into that physical, that non-physical expression of the greater love, the greater joy, the greater highest yet to be. And I speak a word of prayer for those who are experiencing other conditions in life that appear to be limitations. And they can say, conditions have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me, for I am created in the image and likeness of this intelligence, which knows no limitations, which knows no conditions. And so for this and for so much more, I am truly grateful. Releasing this word back into that law which always says yes, I just allow it to be. And if any of what I have said resonates with you in any way, please affirm it as we say together, and so it is. This week, my family and I took that little stroll down memory lane, and the memory was the transition of the passing of our beloved, our angel, on February the 12th. And it was so fitting that Valentine's Day followed, the day after, and just a remembering of the love that we shared together and the love of family that was so important to us. And so we know that this thing that's called life is eternal, and that there are really no interruptions, that our beloved angel has just taken on a different form. And so here we are. It is now our time for offering. time for our sharing of our abundance with our community. And we are a donation-based community, and it is with deep, deep gratitude that I thank each of you for the way that you support our community. Thank you for the donations that are mailed in, that are sent in via text, and those that are donated through our website. We have a statement of abundance, and I would like us to share that together now. I recognize the presence of God within as a source of my abundance. Out of my consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And as I mentioned earlier, the ways to donate are available for you on our screen. And as the offering basket is being passed here in the center, I would just like to remind you of a couple of things. This coming Tuesday, the 18th, is Tuesday the 18th? Yeah, Tuesday is Principals. Tuesday is the 18th. Thursday is the 20th. Yeah, this Tuesday, February the 18th, will be the overview for our Principles and Practices class. And this class is being offered online as well as in person. So if you're part of our viewing community and would like to join the class, the meeting ID is posted in our newsletter. And did we get a slide for that on this? Did we get a slide for that? That has the Zoom link? Yeah, there it is. So the Zoom link, the ID is 521-128-7538. And this is my Zoom rather than the church's Zoom. So I invite you to, if you have an interest in the class and want to find more about the class, log in Tuesday at 6:30. We will meet from 6:30 to 7:30, 1 hour. And it will be an overview of the class and a Q&A as to what is, what the class requirements are, what some of the topics that we will discover. In total, it is a 5-week class. And for those of you who may be new to Science of Mind, this particular class meets the requirements for our one of our foundations classes. And it's an introductory class to the teachings of Science of Mind. And the book that we will be using is This Thing Called You, rather than the textbook. So it's a little lighter reading. It's a little shorter class, and I'm really excited about it. I really like this class. So I invite you to join me on Tuesday for an overview if you're interested, and I will also be in the center for those of you who are joining in person. So we can do, this will be a both and experience. In fact, the whole class will be a both and. And then the class meeting dates will actually be February 15th through March 18th. We invite our Facebook and our YouTube family to join us next week as we conclude our February series, Radical Interconnection. And our topic will be Letting Go, a New Way of Being Together. And so we say, God bless you, we love you, we appreciate you, and we will see you next week.